Welcome to the MMA Junkie Rankings Report for Wednesday, August 5th. John Morgan along with our rankings chair, gorgeous George Garcia. And, of course, George, this past week, man, it was all about UFC on ESPN Plus 31. So let's just start with the main event in the middleweight division. Derek Brunson, the grizzled veteran, so to speak, pulling off the upset of the golden boy, Edmund Shabazian, a big upset in the wagering lines at the very least, although Brunson was ranked ahead of him in our MMA Junkie rankings. So potential move for two guys, right? Because both of them were in the list. So let's address it. What'd you end up doing in middleweight?
Correct. Yeah. Plus 270 cashed, man. Huge underdog. But yeah, it was the higher ranked guy who was the underdog, and he came out with the win. Good win for Derek Brunson, who's accumulated a nice little resume over the years. His losses are to the quality guys, the champ, and a few of the top contenders. So, he's earned his spot there. And I took a good look. If you go back about 5 years, John, him versus Gegard Mousasi, Mousasi's the current number 7. Brunson's the current number 8. If you go back about 5 years is when Mousasi was really, really popping. And about 3 years ago, he went over to Bellator. Great signing by Bellator. But over at Bellator, he's just not getting challenged at the level of Brunson. So if you go back just 3 years, which is our sweet spot, Brunson's 5-2, Mousasi 4-1. But again, that level of competition, I just think right now is a good time to flip-flop those two. We'll take Brunson to number 7, Mousasi to number 8. Then way down at the bottom, Shabazian takes his first loss, but I don't think it's enough to penalize him and send him to the honorable mentions just yet. The guys at the honorable mentions have some fights coming up. I'd like to see them take that spot from Shabazian if they win a pivotal fight, in their career. But for now, I think Shabazian stays.
Yeah, no question about it. He's still got a bright future ahead. I think he's going to be in our rankings for a while. We'll see how he bounces back. Let's talk about the co-main event. Jennifer Maia taking advantage of the opportunity, submitting Joanne Calderwood, who, of course, already had a title shot guaranteed, put that on the line, and unfortunately probably won't be fighting for the title in her next fight, we'd say at the very least. So, again, potential movement for two fighters who are both ranked in that division. It seems like Maia may be fighting for the UFC title next. So what do we do at women's flyweight?
Yeah, great win for Maia. She got the finish. And then she gets the endorsement from the UFC president. You got to believe she probably is next for Valentina Shevchenko. So a risk there for Calderwood that didn't pay off. But speaking about the rankings, Maia's going to stay at number 5 because her last 2 losses, all within the last 2 years, we don't have to even go back 3 years, have been to the number 3, Kaylin Chukagian, and the number 4, Liz Carmouche. So we'll leave her there at number 5. Look, if she beats Valentina, she's going all the way to number 1 anyway. Of course, that's a tough task, a monumental task, as Valentina is one of the greats. Now let's go to the bottom. What do we do with Calderwood? Calderwood had 1, 3 of 4, is what they were saying, going into this fight, going into what should have been the title shot, and that's how you market it. I get that. But the way it pans out, she's now lost 2 of 3, so we're going to drop her 1 slot right below Lauren Murphy, who's had a nice little resurgence in her career. She's won 3 in a row. So, not that big of a penalty, but she'll go from number 9 to number 10, and Lauren Murphy will take that new number 9 spot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, for Joanne Calderwood. You respect the heck out of somebody for taking a chance like that and staying busy, and it just didn't pay off. But still a chance for her to work up the rankings at some point later in her career. So let's move it down to the welterweight division, man. Always a tough one, right? The welterweight division, one of the deepest in the sport. Vicente Luque picked up another impressive win over Randy Brown, a guy that I think is kind of perennially underranked and underrated, but unfortunately such just a deep weight class. So the silent assassin, can we do anything with Vicente Luque?
Yeah, with Vicente Luque, look, he had won 6 in a row, and then he took that recent loss. Had he won that fight, he might be top 5, or at least pushing up on top 5. Welterweight is just stacked. There's no way around it. And we're going to have to keep him, though, right now where he's at number 12, because Jeff Neal at number 11 has won 7 in a row. Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's at number 10, he's won 7 in a row. But here's a notice to Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's coming back from that infection that he had. He's got to fight soon because he's brushing up on 2 years of inactivity. So he's going to, this doesn't just go for the USA Today Sports Rankings, but it also goes for, I'm sure, the promotion. He's going to just start to slowly drop, and he may have to give up that spot pretty soon. But they have their 7-fight win streaks, can't take that away. Luque's bouncing back not very, very nicely now with a couple wins. But for now, he's just going to have to stay put.
So there you go. A little bit of movement this week. And I tell you what, we're going to start to see a lot of movement, I think, over the course of this month, man. UFC is running every weekend. Bellator is back in full swing. You said it. The Japanese promotions are firing back up again. European. We're getting talent going again all over the world. So it's been a slow period for a while, to say the least, thanks to this damn pandemic. But I think we're going to start to see things crank up over the next couple of months. Of course, We'll talk about it all on the Rankings Report.